What's up, YouTube? It's RS Mario here, bringing you another Pokemon Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire coverage. Well, not a coverage video, but more or less like a speculation video. So, here we go. So, today we're going to talk about the Mirage Tower and the Desert Underpass on Route 111. Both of them, they're pretty cool little additions. One of the, some of the cool things that are in the Hoenn region. That's pretty much what this speculation series is going to be about, like different locations in the Hoenn region and what they could, and could they be in Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire and what role they might play. This is speculation about different parts of the Hoenn region. And so we're starting off with the Mirage Tower because that's actually a pretty interesting one. So the Mirage Tower is located on Route 111. It's the tower, it's 4 stories tall. The top of it contains 2 fossils, the root fossil and the claw fossil. And this is basically the whole reason the tower really is here is so you can get these fossils. And to get these fossils is one of the main reasons you cross this freaking large desert that's smack dab in the middle of Route 111. You get here, you get to the top of the tower. You have to use the mock bike because there's those broken pieces of floor that you'll fall through on a normal bike. But once you get to the top, there are 2 fossils. There's the root fossil and the claw fossil, which are the only ways to get, Anorith and Lilip in the game, which eventually turn into Armaldo or Cradily. I'm straight going for Armaldo because Armaldo's awesome. But yeah, so the Mirage Tower, probably the most unique part of it was the fact that it had like a special effect to it, even back in the GBA days, where it would appear at some points and disappear at other points, depending on where you are in Route 111. Depending on what position you are in on that route, you can or cannot see the tower. It was literally a mirage. That was pretty cool. I was a kid and I was like, wow, the tower disappeared. And then you walk up some and you get to another place and you're like, oh, the tower's there. And you're going towards the tower and say, you go into a Pokemon battle and you're not paying attention and the tower's gone again. It's insane. It's cool though. And hopefully they do something like that in Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire. But I don't think it'll happen though. The main reason I'm saying that is because there's at the end, after you get the fossil, if you pick your fossil from the top of the tower, the tower crumbles, and the fossil falls into the desert sand and sinks away, and the tower goes away forever. And Nintendo actually kind of confirms this in Black and White 2. There's a backpacker who actually mentions the Mirage Tower in Hoenn, and actually mentions the fact that it disappeared. So that means that the tower is probably gone forever. So, which kind of sucks, even though technically this is a remake, they might hold true to this, and like have the tower be gone, But they've done this in other remakes before, so I don't know. It's a possibility that the Mirage Tower might not be there. But another cool little fact about the Mirage Tower is that it was possibly inspired by a tower of the same name from the original Final Fantasy game back on NES. And it had some of the same features. They both were in the desert. They were both visible at specific points where you were standing in the desert, and they both are kind of like a spiral-shaped dungeon. Even though the other thing about, the Mirage Tower in the Final Fantasy game was it was based on the Tower of Babel. Like most things in Final Fantasy, it was based off of religious symbolism. But yeah, other than that, it was pretty cool though. The Mirage Tower is awesome. Hopefully it'll be in Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire. The other thing we're going to talk about is the desert underpass. It's basically basically like a really long underpass that goes through a pretty big part of Hoenn. Goes under Fall Harbor Town, under Route 113. It's and basically leads to a big cul-de-sac at the end. where the fossil that you didn't pick before is, and you can't get here until after you beat the Elite Four and get the National Day. But you know, it's in there, and you know, this will probably be in the game. You know, if the Mirage Tower is not there, you know, the Desert Underpass will be there, since it goes directly under the Mirage Tower. You know, and of course the end is where you'll get the, you know, you'll get the other fossil. More than likely, I see what they'll probably do here is they'll probably put something else at the end of here. You know, since you know you'll probably get your fossils another way. At the end of this road will probably be like a Mega Stone or something, possibly a Mega Stone for one of the fossil Pokemon. You know, I'm hoping for Mega Armaldo. But yeah, you know, the Desert Underpass is a pretty cool little unique thing in there, and it's one of the only places in the game where you can actually catch a Ditto. So that was pretty cool. So yeah, you know, there's some speculation about those two parts of Hoenn. I don't think the Mirage Tower will be in there. Hopefully it is. If it's not in there, the Desert Underpass will definitely be its replacement. So, alright, so that's about it for this. This is a pretty quick video. I'm gonna go ahead, and this is gonna be a new part of the series. I'm trying to condense the videos down shorter, so you know you don't spend enough, you know, longer time listening to me drone on about Pokemon. Bringing out a video about the schedule. It should be out on Saturday, probably before or after the Zelda video goes out. So, but yeah, I actually made a schedule for the channel finally. So, so like, comment, subscribe, and keep it real.